Got here just in time. Nice. Alright then. Cool beans. Folks are gradually starting to log on. Let's give folks a bit more time. I don't know if any folks here are rabid role-playing game collectors like me, as in, it's something shiny, I buy it, and then I never play it. But Humble Bundle at the moment have got a couple of good ones on. If you fancy playing spies or detectives in a world where controlled by vampires behind some big super conspiracy, then Humble Bundle have got Night's Black Agents going cheap. I mean, who wouldn't? James Bond fights Dracula. I mean, how could you not want to? In fact, I think they've missed out on that now that I think about it.
I would watch that movie.
But which Bond? Do we want to go the super cheesy Roger Moore side of things? Or do we want to go with the more Daniel Craig, kind of modern Jason Bourne-esque fighting styles and gadgets and stuff?
Did Pierce Brosnan play James Bond?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
I would.
I would go for a mixture of like Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, and Pierce Brosnan.
Interesting.
Like into one.
Are we just going to ignore Timothy Dalton? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
I have genuinely only seen Timothy Dalton in Looney Tunes back in action. Oh, and Hot Fuzz.
Hot
I have no
Fuzz.
point of reference.
Oh yes, of
for
course, Hot Fuzz.
James Bond. He's fantastic in Hot Fuzz.
He's brilliant in it.
Who's playing Hot Fuzz again?
He's the Summerfield manager who's like super suspicious like the entire movie.
Who did he play in Hot Fuzz again?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the Summerfields manager.
Mr. Skinner.
Yeah. Hello, Mr.
The owner of the supermarché. I'm a slasher of prices.
Slasher of prices.
Now, I mustn't quote any more of that film. Otherwise, by law, if you quote it 3 times, it's like Beetlejuice. You got to watch it. And that film is so eminently quotable that if I start, I will not stop. Right, who are we missing? Is everybody in Foundry?
Yes.
Liz, I can't see your name in our list. Unless she's gone. To be fair, it is brutally cold and brutally early where she is at the moment, so we can't fault her for that. There we go. And are those who want to listen to Sirenscape able to connect and hear something?
I can't find the link for
I've-
Sirenscape.
Oh, wait there.
Would you like me to send you the link to Sirenscape?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
I can't hear anything. Something is playing. Oh, it's there. There was a little pause. Never mind.
Right. No problem, Liz. There's the link to Sirenscape for those who want it or need it. Okay then, so whilst folks are busy signing in and the like, I will tip us over to our intro video and we'll be back in a couple of moments. Squeezes, folks.
It's fantastic.
The
It's
title
very
sounds
silly.
like it would be.
Dracula Dead and Loving It is one of my favourite films because it is essentially, well, it's Mel Brooks retelling the Dracula story, and it's just as silly as you expect it to be. But hey, this isn't Dracula Dead and Loving It, this is Star Trek! And before we get on to Star Trek, we have to plug somebody's very excellent YouTube channel, so here we are, The Utter Crisp. Chris, take it away.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so Having a Mosey is my retro review series. My most recent video from like 2 or 3 months ago now is the Yakuza 0 video. Been on a bit of a hiatus since then. That video took a good 10 months to make. But I'm working on season 3 in like a batch. So I've got 6 games on the go at the moment that I'm recording, writing for, etc., etc. First one's going to be for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, so stay tuned. Thank you.
Nice. Cool, so zipping us back momentarily too. Yes, right. Star Trek, let's get going with Star Trek. So, can confirm that everybody who wants to be is logged in and is hearing everything fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can get on with things. So, let's shunt ourselves over to the bridge. Just close this for a second. The bridge. Deck 1. So, if we cast our minds back to last week, the Combs, even though it is in a bit of a banged-up state, what with the Klingons having targeted the Combs' engines, or at the very least its power grid during a previous engagement, the Combs has been asked to race the Klingons to a sensor array that is positioned in the Shackleton Expanse in such a way that it could conceivably capture all traffic in the northern reaches of the Klingon Empire. So naturally, Starfleet wants that sensor array protected, but the Klingons also want it destroyed because it can see what they're up to. So the Combs has been tasked with racing the Klingons to the sensor array and trying to protect it in whatever fashion they deem able. And the Klingons, meanwhile, are racing there to destroy it, and we have discovered that there are 2 Klingon ships that are racing the Combs to the destination. The first is a very impressive Vorcha class, which is, if I remember, it is the IKS Gelbor, whereas the other Klingon ship is a Kavort-class battlecruiser, and it is the IKS MupwI, the crew of which the Combs crew have actually made friends with previously, before all of this Klingon Federation war shenanigans. So at the moment, they're in a bit of a friendly-ish competition with their Klingon former compatriots. But how long is that going to last for, we wonder? So, before we get stuck into the rest of this episode, was there anything else anybody else could remember that they think they might need clarification on, or a reminder of, or that I might need reminding of?
Has everyone spent their acclaim?
Good point. We were doing acclaim spending because we ended our episode a little early. I believe we did, but I could be wrong. Dr. Sott still got 5 acclaim hanging around in there.
Not 100% what to do with it at the moment. So,
Well, let's have a look. You've got full reputation, so if you wanted to, you could put in for a promotion.
Well, that'd be kind of fun.
And there's also, you could spend acclaim on contacts and non-player character contacts, either in Starfleet or outside of Starfleet.
I'm not a mingler.
There's also awards you can purchase with your acclaim, so...
Yeah, the award. Can you purchase awards for other characters? Like, not necessarily one of the group, but like...
Legion of Honor.
Yeah, the
Yeah?
Legion of Honor.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It would essentially be the same thing as like a superior officer awarding one of the lower crew for acts.
Maybe I'll pimp out my posse and get like a Legion of Honor for Nurse Uro.
Alright then, so that sounds reasonable to me. A Legion of Honor award is usually 3, if I remember. No, it's 4. It's 4 acclaim, so yeah, if you want Nurse Uro to have Legion of Honor, then you spend 4 acclaim on that. Groovy.
Cool.
Oh.
Mate.
I have a question about some of the talents and awards.
Mhm.
So for some of them, we have to justify them for ourselves based on what happens in the episodes, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, at the very least, yes.
if we want to, have some cronyism or whatever and award it to our subordinates, can we do that just willy-nilly?
I would say not as much. For something like Legion of Honor, which has got no conditions, it's fine. But if an award requires you to have, I don't know, like for instance the Palm Leaf of X peace mission, it said you had to have been at least involved in securing peace between 2 sides. So, I mean, it kind of ties in nicely to what Dave was asking me about the end of last week, which was if you want to improve the supporting characters, how do you go about doing it? And the simplest method is find ways of activating those supporting characters and getting them involved in the episode.
Okay.
So in a similar fashion, if you had eyes on one of your supporting characters getting an award, but it has conditions on it, then we can either look through what history we have so far and see if they meet it, or we might have to engineer a future episode to fulfill those conditions. So was there anyone you were thinking of to do this with?
No, just a good to know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you want to pimp your posse, as Chris just said, then yeah, 2 of the best ways would be to get those posse members involved in the episode somehow. But you are only awarded so many supporting characters to an episode.
Yeah.
And also, yes, as long as the supporting character meets the prerequisites of an award, a main character can award one of these guys an award.
Okay.
Spiffing. Especially considering that this crew is fairly young still, as far as the length of the campaign goes, but you are starting to amass quite a nice supporting cast now. So, starting to involve them more in order to beef them up a little bit, character advancement-wise, it's not a bad idea overall. So, getting back to that, I know we almost activated Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang at some point. Can't wiggle flask because the game is paused. Okay. If you need to wiggle flask, go right ahead.
Oh, no, I kept pinging on the bridge, because I was like, why can't I move anything? Oh, it's paused. So, yeah, sorry about that brain fart.
That's fine, that's fine. I just randomly ping across the map anyway, but that's just me. What was I saying? I was trying to make a point. The point is gone. I've forgotten the point. Can't have been that important. Never mind, let's go. Let's just carry on what we were doing. Yeah, I suppose I was getting at, over time, your supporting characters will become more powerful the more you use them, or more able the more you use them, and if we find the situation where we need to bring in more, then it just expands our cast. So, we are on the run. You have been matching the Klingons so far, trick for trick. They tried knocking you out of warp with a gravitational burst, and I think you were looking to do the same to them at some point, but we first have to get through the fact that even though the Klingons tried knocking you out of warp and gaining a bit of momentum, you are now getting very close to the leading edge of the Shackleton Expanse, which, even though you guys have been to an awful lot, you've never had to actually go through the treacherous parts of the Shackleton Expanse at speed, especially not in competition with somebody. So this is going to make things just a little bit more interesting, shall we say. So, one of the first things the crew has to overcome, if I could just change this to the race begins. One of the first things one of the first obstacles a crew comes across when they enter the Shackleton Expanse is an area known as the Endurance Divide. It's a massive complex of interstellar dust, cold gases, and brown dwarf stars. So it's located along the Federation border with the Expanse, and it wraps around the spinward edges of the Expanse like a blanket, which prevent accurate sensor scans. And it also, unfortunately for you guys, increases the amount of power needed for warp systems to maintain a stable subspace bubble. Now this is unfortunate because we so far haven't completely fixed the power-related problems on the combs. We've got induction coils that are being steadily damaged because they were already damaged, and therefore the slack is being taken up by the not-so-damaged induction coils. But how long that lasts is yet to be seen, depending on how much you push the ship. And you have been pushing the ship, but only by taking certain systems offline. So, just to remind us all, I believe the library on one of the decks was taken offline. Deck... Ooh, was there an entire deck that was taken offline too?
Deck 9.
Deck 9, thank you. Deck 9 was knocked off so that they could save some power. The holodecks were also taken away.
Yes.
Yep.
Is there anything else? Have I missed anything?
The
Tavish
brig.
currently under
House
house
arrest.
arrest.
Tavish under house arrest, that was it. Sending all those messages to from inside her incarceration. That's right. I remember now. Okay, so in trying to shave a bit of power out of those systems, you've added power back to the engines to try and get you some speed, which is why I think we boosted things up to warp... Ooh, was it 9 point something?
No, we were
Was it warp
at
8?
Warp 8.
Yeah.
Yep, we're
Matching.
still at warp 8.
So currently matching the Klingons for their speed. Alrighty, alrighty.
Yeah, because we got told if we go over Warp 8, then it's putting a massive amount of pressure on the ship and on the engines.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
as much as somebody wants to go faster, she can't.
Yes, so. so Ensign Bonnet is very much vibrating at the on the helm the moment, trying to resist the urge to push the limits faster. So, yes. More on the endurance divide. So what can we expect? It ranges between 1 and 3 light years thick. And current theories suggest the endurance divide is a remnant gas and debris from supernovas that formed another obstacle that you're going to have to come across as well. So, Starfleet recommendations of travelling through the endurance divide state that you drop to low warp speeds to reduce wear on the subspace coils and to maintain a detailed sensor sweep for dangerous obstacles or large conglomerations of dust and gas that may tax the ability of the primary deflector to protect the vessel from harm. So while you're inside the divide, the skies are dimmed by the high concentrations of dust, and often the brightest stars are the nearby brown dwarf star systems that are accompanied by a few icy dark worlds. There are also a couple of cosmozoan life forms that are known to hang around these areas. So, this becomes one very important question. Starfleet, as I mentioned, has got safety protocols in place suggesting a maximum speed that you should maintain if you want to safely go through the endurance divide. From where you currently sit, the Klingons are pushing their engines. So the Vorcha, who seems to have gone a bit squiffy, there we go. The Vorcha ship is a newer, sleeker design and has got a bit of a head start on the Combs. The MupwI is trailing at about the same speed and the same distance as the Combs currently. The Klingons are pretty much pushing for getting as much of a lead as they can now that you've essentially caught up with them, which is probably going to play some merry hell on their systems. So it comes down to, well, how dangerous do you guys want to get?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 15.
We can beat them. I still have a star.
Don't,
Yeah, I've got a star cross in reserve.
like, don't ask Bade. She would say 20 out of 10.
Lord. Okay, so essentially, the endurance divide counts as a Class 3 nebula. So I'm going to put that here. And what that essentially means is that a Class 3 nebula makes any task that requires engines or sensors or weapons is now 3 harder to do. So whatever the difficulty of a task to do with any of those ship systems was before, it's now that much harder to do. Gotta go fast. So, let me see. Well, is there anything you want to try to start with? Because you are trying to save energy by going at the maximum safe speed, which is warp 8, but whilst here, it is recommended that you drop to low warp speed.
So we're dropping to low warp speed normally to avoid problems?
Yes. Because dropping to low warp speed, just to remind, it's recommended that you drop to low warp speed so that you reduce the wear on your subspace coils and to allow sensors to be able to look for dangerous obstacles.
Cool, that's two ideas then. One is Gurkau somehow using the sensors to gauge the probability of what's in front of us.
Okay, yeah, based on previous experience. No, that works for me.
And then I suppose I would help the engineering team in trying to contain and boost the power coils so they don't actually wear out.
Isn't one of the power coils severely damaged and the other one's basically taking all the load though at the moment?
Those are the induction coils.
Oh.
We're also now talking about subspace coils. So if you think about it this way, the subspace coils are more to do with propelling the ship, whereas the induction coils are more about the power running through the ship. So they're two separate systems. No less important than the other. But do you really want to be putting more strain on another ship system when you've already got strain on your power grid? So this becomes the question.
I was thinking I don't know how Starfleet of us this is, but some subterfuge, just to give a bit of panic to the Klingons, so that they'll set their engines to overdrive and then basically make them dead in the water or dead in space, while we slowly coast along. I mean, we can go fast as well, as much as we're able to.
Are they going to fall for another one of our tricks?
But that was a different one, isn't it?
This is an interesting point, because if the MupwI is also familiar with travelling to the Shackleton Expanse, because they used to be stationed at Narendra Station with you guys. So the MupwI crew are probably just as familiar with the Shackleton Expanse's dangers as you guys are. But like you guys, they probably haven't yet tried going through it at speed. So it depends. What kind of subterfuge were you thinking of enacting?
What would make them quake? Or get them a bit nervous?
Would Klingons admit to such?
I can dress up as Kalis.
Behold, our most frightful of cosplay. Well, you know, can anyone think of anything?
Can we... I don't know. I don't know how much power it would take to project an image of ourselves suddenly, accelerating way ahead of them. Or maybe we can use some kind of space mirror to project ourselves that far. And then they'll be like, oh no, we have to catch up. Boom. I mean, we could also help their engines. Help overload it somehow.
Interesting.
I mean, we are in a state of war with them, so I don't think the subterfuge is too...
Yeah.
It's within the rules for Starfleet. It's not like we're doing it to a random innocent ship.
That is true. That's true.
No. Alright, so this is not the MupwI, is it?
The MupwI is one of the two ships, Klingon ships, that you're currently in competition with.
Well, Tavish can't say anything, so yeah.
Just eavesdropping.
Tavish would be
Tavish
against.
can send us a letter.
Alright. You just get a message from
the brig. Well, you're not even from the brig anymore, are you? No.
No, I'm in my own quarters. It'll be.
I thought we put a monitor. I thought we blocked her communications. We did, Captain. She found a way around it. I am not sure whether to be frightened or impressed.
Both.
Garrow, could you please lock down Tavish's terminal access?
Again.
Again? Well,
you just get a message from
Tavish again.
No, Nil.
No, Nihil. Oh, okay.
Nihil just going. I don't think that will work, Garrow.
I'm sorry, I can't let you do this, Dave.
I mean, don't forget we're also neurologically linked. Myself,
Tavish,
and who was it? Was it Flash?
No, it was the helm officer.
It was 1A. Yes.
1A.
But that was potentially a temporary measure, just so that you could navigate your botched job of a displacement-activated spore hub drive. So
how temporary is it, Tavish?
And that's all the answer you're getting. Okay.
How temporary? I have a story that Joel.
So, I was gonna say, so when it comes down to it, I feel like Tavish would very much be against trying to hurt the MupwI. If maybe slowing them down is more a thing, but speeding them up so they blow up Not
I mean,
on
not
MupwI.
blow up, just like
But
The
we have,
engines are gonna be hurt.
yeah,
it's
but we have,
playful.
we have no idea. We have no idea.
Bigger banner.
We have no idea exactly what this nebula is going to do on those ships. If they speed up and they hit something and the MupwI blows up, you know, we got to explain to a very angry Klingon who used to be part of our crew why we blew up our family.
Well, technically, Captain Akul and his MupwI crew aren't a member of House Krell. They are their own house, House Akul. Which,
But,
you know,
but
we like these guys, so
yeah, I was going to say they could have shot at us in the last session,
yes.
but they didn't.
Which makes you wonder
Yes.
what they might have said to the guys on the Vorcha to stop them from shooting at you.
Yep. But at least hurt the Forja class.
Hurt the Vorcha. Well, yes, so far the only one that's actually done any kind of interference is the MupwI. In slowing itself down as well to keep you guys at bay, allowing the Vorcha to get ahead slightly. So slowing the Vorcha down would give you guys potentially a means of catching up.
Can we get Ensign? Ensign? What's Ensign Ravalon?
He is the communications officer. What was your idea, Dave?
So, can we, like, try and from here, try and turn off, like, some of their systems, get into? I know it's a Tavish thing, but taking Tavish out the picture, like.
You want to
turning
try
off
and break into another ship's systems in order to
systems.
do stuff with.
Yeah, to slow them down. You know, a few seconds of coming out of fort.
Back into their systems. Okay, that sounds like the electronic warfare.
Is that more or less aggressive than?
Depends what you do with it, I suppose. Let's have a
So,
look.
I mean, you could turn off the life support, but I'm not suggesting turning off the life support.
Let's see. If we go to, I mean, I'm once again using the
Can't
digital
use Tavish.
commands. So let's see. Communications. Communications officer responsible for maintaining and updating the universal translator, monitoring nearby transmissions, handling secure encrypted communications, coordinating crew activities. Specialized nature of the situation designed to enable complex tasks. I remembered there being an electronic warfare action that Command Station could use before, but maybe that has been replaced now. Because it's now just damage control and transporter. So it sounds like it's going to be a specialized application of Ensign Ravalon. He does have encryption-decryption. So you could try and hack into the Klingon systems. It's not going to be easy, and you could probably do with help, and it does mean activating another of your supporting cast.
So, what does everybody else think? Does that sound like a good idea, or do you want to do something else?
And this is against
I like
the
it.
Forcha when that
Yeah.
we're not friends with. Yeah. Okay. I could bully someone I don't know.
Yep. Bully people we don't know.
Bully! Okay then, let's see. This means we are going to have to activate Ensign Ravalon because I'm imagining you want to use his encryption-decryption focus. This is going to be a daring and engineering type of job. This will be backed up by the ship using communications and security, so Chris can probably be the ship for me. Since this was your idea of hacking into the other ship, I mean, actually, whose idea was it? Was it Dave's or was it Connie's?
Dave's.
Dave. Dave can be Ensign Ravalon. Now, you do have 5 momentum in the pool. Do you want to use... Well, do you want to add somebody to assist, first of all?
If it's engineering and daring, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The person I would like to... I would suggest would be Flesk.
What with the parent figure thing going on? Okay.
Yeah, it's not just that. He's got daring and engineering. It's like 15.
Okay.
And also, I don't need to lead it to use parent figure. We just need 2 other people.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've got.
We just need one more person to add then to this.
Well, Garo, while his engineering isn't the highest, he does have shipboard tactical systems. And I'm not sure if we used the Starcross for him last time.
I don't think you or did you? That's a good question. No, we used...
Is it Legion of Honor?
Garrow was used for his control and engineering, but Flask used Starfleet Medal of Honor, not Garrow.
I mean, what does everyone think?
I'm not seeing... Yeah, I'm not seeing any use of Garrow's awards being used. Just Garrow himself being aiding something. So
yeah.
I've got a Starcross and 2 Legion of Honors on standby.
So yeah, bring Garrow into it.
okay, he's already been activated once, so we don't need to spend a point to do that again. So well then, Connie, since you pointed him out, why don't you be Garrow?
Alright. Reverse Starcross, since
If you want to use a Starcross, then that's fine as well. Maintenance Specialist. Okay.
If it's an engineering task,
We may ignore the first complication. Very good, very good.
Which means with with parent figure, that's
2 complications. Very good. Dave, you had a question.
I'm Ensign Ravalon.
Yes, please. You are using daring and engineering with his focus of encryption-decryption.
Okie dokie.
Now, I know his daring isn't great, his control is better, but you are trying to just, at the seat of your pants, break into technically an enemy's secure system, so...
Is this a 2 dice?
This is a 2 dice for you, for everyone else it's 1, including Chris, who's going to be the Combs, and the Combs is giving me communications and security.
Thank you kindly.
And remember to check the box for focus, because the ship counts as having a focus.
Lovely. Well, that was nice.
Ooh, hello. Hello. Alright, so not so much for the ship, but everybody else. It seems like Ensign Ravalon has been waiting for this moment. He may even have practiced once or twice while nobody was looking. He might have been like, those Klingons, I don't like them. Let me practice breaking into their systems. I never thought this time would come up, but hey, it's here. Time to shine. Okay, so Flask got us 1, Ensign Ravalon got us 3, Garrow got us 1, so that's a heck of a lot of successes there. Alright, cool. Forge is reloading for you, no problem.
I feel like the captain will be going, you need to stop spending too much time with Tavish, Ensign Ravalon.
Or maybe you should be spending more time with Lieutenant Tavish. I have not yet decided. Alright then. So, using a tightly focused transmission beam, because you guys are at least familiar enough with Klingon ships that you know where to find their communication array on even a Vorcha-class ship. So yes, you beam them a coded set of signals which masks the ident of another Klingon ship. Nothing specific, but it fools the system into thinking that it is another Klingon ship trying to connect, which is all the excuse Ensign Ravelon and assistants need to break into the system, the Klingon system temporarily. So you got enough successes there to do one fairly serious thing to a major system. So what was it you wanted to do?
Engines, surely.
Put some trouble in their engines. Now, there are safety systems in place to prevent the thing going into an overload and just going boom. But at the very least, a level 1 engineering diagnostic will cause them trouble, because that's basically the computer system is now running a scan of a detailed scan of all computerized engineering systems, which means considering that the Klingons don't put as much stock in diagnostics or regular diagnostics as Starfleet do, you could think of it as along the lines of your antivirus or your anti-malware is being force run by someone coming in from outside just to slow down your computer. And you haven't cleaned out your cache in a long time, so it's got lots of files to sort and delete.
Sounds diabolical, I love it.
So, alright then, in that case, that is going to... And that didn't use engines, weapons, or sensors, so it didn't get complicated by the nebula at all. Which means that the Vorcha is now going to fall behind, as their attempt to do pretty much anything with their engines is complicated by the fact that they've now got serious lag going on with every command they input, because you've triggered off the biggest, most detailed diagnostic that can happen. So, cool. That's the Vorcha. Now, what about yourselves? As was stated previously, low warp is recommended so that you give your sensors time to identify potential hazards up ahead, so that your deflector isn't overloaded by trying to push things out of the way it wasn't expecting, and of course also your subspace field coils don't get damaged too much by being strained because of all the weird gravitational whatevers that are going on in this nebula. So how low are you willing to drop your speed to?
I don't think we should do it that low. And can we count on Ensign Bonet to pilot us around these debris?
Can
We're
we
going to
get,
warp head? Yeah, we got this.
can we do anything to help Bonnet go faster? So
Well,
modding or compensating our sensors to allow us to go faster.
this is
Bonnet
the
wants
thing.
to go faster. I think we should try and go faster to support Bonnet to reduce the difficulty, so she can keep going faster by either coming up with a way to compensate.
So this is
And
going to be
using
the
our
thing.
experience.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, because we know kind of what to expect here. We just haven't gone this fast.
Hmm.
So using our experience and the god, the god trait, the god talent, we can have a go.
Okay.
That was Bonnet when you said we go faster.
Yeah. For those who can't see what we're looking at in Discord, it's basically this. So there you go. Alright, so yeah, this is going to be a weird balancing act. So I've got a... I've got like a difficulty 2 as the benchmark in mind. And you're going to have to hold on for a second because timing is not good. And I've got a visitor. Excuse me 1 second. Let me just pause. Hey, Gordon. Okay, just sit yourself in. Samantha and Bethany aren't here at the moment, so it's just me and I'm working. Okay, cool. Just my father-in-law. Right in. So, what was I saying? Yes, so there's like this like default level I'm going at, which is if you do lower your warp speed down to 3, the difficulty comes down to 2. Faster puts the difficulty up by every warp point. And also bear in mind, actually, now that I think of it, the difficulty is actually at a default of 3 because of the nebula. So you've got a default of 3, and that's at going at warp... What did I say it was?
3.
Warp 3. So going at warp 4 means you increase the difficulty to 4. But obviously, if you are getting Gurkau to come in with the God focus, based on bringing a boost to sensors, that will give you help in achieving those 4 successes. And of course, if somebody else comes on, then obviously it gives you more of a chance to get more successes again. But the higher you want to go, the faster you want to go, the higher the difficulty is going to be. So choose.
When you say something with like the God focus, it makes it sound like, you know, for every thought and prayer, the difficulty gets lowered by 1.
Well, I was thinking of doing that, but it's basically we still need folks to roll. So
if we wanted to go at warp 8, we would have to.
It would be difficulty 8. Which, let's face it, with this group is not impossible. It depends on how much you want to put into this first of at least 2 area-related obstacles, because after the endurance divide, you've got the washboard triplets to go through as well.
I mean, if we slow down, Bonnie will, one of her values will come into play, where she wants to go faster.
So
I can theoretically get another.
We don't have to slow down a lot. We just need to be faster
than the Klingons. So, choose. How high are you willing to go? And who's going to get involved? Because we've got Bonnet, we'll also have Chris helping us out as the ship. And there's also Gurkau. So...
and just
Gurkau
remember,
still has... Oh, sorry,
I'd say
go
we
on.
knock it up 1 to like difficulty 4.
because if this is flight control... Oh, no, it's hands-on piloting, I'm thinking of... Okay. Because this is a con-related task, the focus range of the ship is doubled.
Mm-hmm. So, yep, there's that. There's Bonnet's talent to take into account as well, yes. That the focus range is doubled for the ship. So, yeah, that could earn you an extra success better. But again, how high, how fast are we looking to go?
Well, I think we can go up to 6.
I like it, the aspiration.
Okay. So
I mean, Bonnet was gonna just keep speed.
if we fail, it's complications we get, right?
Oh yes, if you fail, well, you're looking at probable power loss and damage to ship's systems.
Can we pool our Legions of Honor?
Oof. You can use Legions of Honor on your own individual rolls, certainly. What were you thinking?
So if Bonnet has a Legion of Honor and I have a Legion of Honor, and then whoever else has one, and there's 4 complications, we could theoretically remove 3 complications already.
Why does this sound like it's turning into like an average maths problem?
Well,
See, the problem with that is she
If
doesn't
Colin's
have
got 1 Legion of Honor,
Legion of Honor.
Jeff's got 3 Legions of Honor.
Quite
we-
you.
As long as we
Well-
have Flask involved and 2 others, and
Yeah.
both of those at least have Legion of Honor, that's 3 Legion of Honor at least, plus parent figure, that's 4 complications we can avoid.
Also, let me just have a look. What the heck is this? Butterfly Medal. I have a Legion of Honor and a Medal of Honor,
Medal
which
of Excellence,
basically
yes.
do the same thing. So I could I apply them simultaneously?
The Legion of Honor grants you the ability to either negate a complication if you call it out before I call it out, or gives you 2 bonus momentum, whereas the Cochrane Medal of Excellence
Oh no, so
allows
this,
you to
sorry.
use determination and gain double the benefits of 1 point of
So that-
determination spans.
I was
Wouldn't that
also
give you
looking-
2 1 dice? That's 4 successes.
Yes.
That's an amazing medal. I'm gonna have to get me one of them.
and actually a Starfleet Medal of Honor as well. So it's like
Which-
there's a Legion of Honor and a Starfleet Medal of Honor, but I think they're the same functionally.
The Starfleet Medal of Honor, once permission will allow you to gain 2 bonus momentum in a similar fashion to the Legion of Honor, yes. But that's all it does.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And gaining bonus momentum doesn't count towards the number of successes you've earned on this task, so this is going to be more about successes than it is anything else.
Yeah.
It's everyone's spending determination, and I think using Medal of Excellence, giving you 2 successes for 1 determination, that's really good value.
Well, you'll already get 2 successes for 1 determination anyway. If you use
Oh,
the
sorry, that's
Medal of
4.
Excellence, you'll get 4.
That's the answer. That's
And
definitely
the
how we do that.
question now definitely becomes, do you want to metaphorically blow your wad this early?
Yes, because if 1 or 2 of us do that, I can do it on the next one. So we can stagger it.
Alright.
But that's
Now we're
up
talking.
to... I think it's a good idea.
And
But it's
as
not-
Liz has pointed out, Bonnet does not have a Legion of Honor, so the
That's
negation
not- that's
of
all about the other one.
complications, yep, are going to be covered by other folks. Now,
Okay.
if that's Bonnet is doing the primary, and Chris will be aiding as the ship, Connie as Gurkow, and it sounds like Flesk is getting involved too? Or is
Yeah,
it?
I can help. I can help out.
That's
I'm not gonna
a
miss-
point of momentum needed to bring Flesk in here. Now we're looking at, what did we say? Warp 6?
Yeah, we'll definitely need
Whoops, sorry.
Blessed because parent figure because that can get rid of Bonnet's complication.
Do
And
we
I've
want to put somebody else in just to make sure we've got enough? Like Kenson or Jirani?
No, because we can buy more with momentum. Buy more dice for the people who can roll better. So whoever's got the highest, buy some momentum.
It's Control and Con, right?
This is going to be, yes, Control and Con for Bonnet. It's going to be Engines and Con for the Combs. It's going to be Control and... Is it going to be Control and Science? I think it's Daring and Science for Gurkow.
Okay.
Would I have a focus again on this one as the Combs?
Yes, you have double focus as the Combs, actually, thanks to Bonnet's talent. So you get to do
Yeah.
dedicated focus as well as focus.
I could take
Grant-
both.
Mm.
Yeah. Granted, it's mainly because if anyone else tries to fly the ship,
Oh,
if anyone else tries to fly the ship,
yeah, you have trouble.
It's harder.
And Flask, it's gonna be...
So if Meg tries to come back, The console's all typed and messed up.
Yep, so nobody else can fly this as well except Bonnet, unless you monkey with her settings, which she might hurt you for, so I wouldn't recommend it. It's going to be daring and engineering for Flesk as well, because you're going to be shunting power around like a maniac, trying to stop things from overloading, and yet giving them enough power that... because you're going to be shunting power to not only the engines, but turning power around away from the induction coils that are damaged, whilst also giving full maneuverability, and you're going to need to boost power to the deflector systems, and you're going to need to boost power to the sensor array in order to let Gurkau do her job. So Flesk is going to be sweating.
Yep,
His
and because I've
fingers are
got
gonna
to
be
focus
dancing.
in power systems, if everyone's okay with it, I'm just going to buy an extra dice with 1 momentum and roll 2.
Right, so it's 1 dice for... Actually, by the sounds of it, it's... Connie is going to be going all in and spending a point of determination. So we'll ignore the... You'll basically be rolling 1 dice and tagging for determination.
Mm.
Mark is rolling 2 dice because he's bought an extra one, and so the last remaining dice is for the combs because Bonnet's using 2. So that's more dice than you should be allowed, actually.
Is it? Oh, I can put that back.
1.
Right.
No, wait. Let me think. 1.
Oh.
2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So, yes, Flesk cannot use any extra dice. You're at the maximum of 5.
All right. I will just roll the 1 using focus. Come on.
Oh, we got it.
It's a success.
It is a success. So the combs has got 2. Flesk with his power management has got 3. Next it comes down to, well, Connie, we assume 4 successes because you're spending determination. So 2, 3, 4, that's 7. So it's whatever else Bonnet puts in.
Okay. Well, seeing as she used her determination, I don't need to. But I have helm control, so that's a dedicated focus.
Ooh.
Fair and figure. It's a flesh.
Yes, the first one is ignored. But it was worth it to see Thomas the Tank Engine with a moustache. So.
Yeah, don't need to declare it. It's just the first one is ignored.
Yes. So, wow. Okay, a combined effort from everybody. So, the combs itself, thanks in no small part to the excellent engineering teams it has in maintaining its system stability. You shunt power around as needed, and she is more than holding up to the task. Now, this task, the trip is not without bumps.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
Did the ship use computers or sensors?
Sensors mostly.
Damn it.
Yes.
I was
You were
just
using
looking at what it
engines
rolled.
and sensors, so you were using them all. They were definitely getting affected by the nebula. So it's a case of, very much a case of, like I noted, Flesk is moving power around as well as he can, keeping it at high levels, but also making sure to stay away from the places that are damaged or in need of repair or are getting too hot. Gurkau is basically straining her eyes, trying to push the edges of the sensors ahead to try and scan for things that will get in your way and damage the ship. And it's a case of Gurkau needs to concentrate so hard, because the moment an obstacle comes up, you have to communicate it immediately to Helm, because otherwise you're going to have no time because you're going so fast. And then it comes down to Bonnet's expert reflexes on the helm to maneuver out of the way at this at speed. So all of you together manage to do this, and then some. It is not a smooth sailing by any stretch of the imagination, because you are having to turn, swerve, and so the inertial compensators are making people lean in their chairs as they're going around and Flesk has to push additional power through the deflector shield at a moment's notice when you come upon a dense dust cloud, stuff like that. So, wow. Going through the endurance divide, that was expert piloting and monitoring, if I do say so myself. As a result of your efforts, the MupwI, for those who are on either the tactical stations or the science stations, or just having a look just to keep abreast of what's going on, the MupwI shows a marked increase in the engine output, to the point where you can tell they are damaging their own systems in order to try and keep pace. And unfortunately, they impact against a graviton pocket and kind of bounce off of it, which allows them to almost keep pace with you. They're a step behind, but now you're getting readings that their reactor is getting quite hot now, and certain systems are now starting to get damaged. Their EPS conduits are starting to rupture in places. They're doing real damage to their ship, trying to keep up. Meanwhile, the Cavort has, of course, been slowed down. The Vorcha, pardon me, has been slowed down as a result of your efforts. Not bad going. Well done. It takes a little time, but you eventually come through the endurance divide. But they call it the endurance divide for a reason, because only the most enduring ships and crews are able to penetrate this outer layer, this outer skin almost, of the Shackleton Expanse in order to get in. Now you have to meet one of the more disruptive obstacles in the Shackleton Expanse, the washboard triplets. So, the entire volume of the Shackleton Expanse has strange gravimetric distortions and ripples in space-time that can be a danger to vessels travelling at warp speeds. The overall phenomenon is known as the washboard. Near the edges of the expanse, vessels at warp have their warp field compressed and expanded as space-time distorts around the vessel, making the crew feel as though the ship is accelerating and decelerating, or swaying from side to side. The effect is so pronounced that warp systems from the 23rd century and earlier were prevented from operating in all but the furthest reaches of the expanse. Damage often occurring to warp systems of the vessels, which was how actually, so history tells, that one of those 23rd century early explorations of the Shackleton Expanse meant that a crew got marooned on a planet. That's a good point. What was that planet called again? That doesn't matter. Either way, even with modern warp systems capable of adapting to the subspace and gravimetric distortions, this effect can still be felt at high warp velocities and becomes stronger the closer a vessel comes to the washboard triplets, which is the cause of this effect. Oh yeah, here's the story, as it happens. One of the first Federation starships to enter the Shackleton Expanse was the USS Umbra, which is a Miranda-class vessel, in 2308. So with the scale and danger of the washboard then unknown, the Umbra did not slow its warp velocity when it was detected, when it did detect an M-class world. Logs showed that the vessel turned towards the system. It began then cutting against the gravimetric shear and suffered catastrophic damage to its warp nacelles. The vessel had to drop out of warp half a light year from the planet, with most of its power systems burned out. After drifting under low impulse power for 1.5 standard years, the survivors of the Umbra made planetfall on the world they called Finally, unwillingly becoming the first Federation colonists in the Expanse. Finally, the planet, is used as a waypoint for shore leave, the descendants of the USS Umbra having built a small Starfleet outpost on the shores of the lake known as Here's Fine.
Is this actual canon?
Yeah, is this actual canon?
Apparently.
And
This feels like Douglas Adams writing a Star Trek episode. Or something, you know?
It sounds like something
is
from
there a
Lower
local-
Decks, actually.
yeah, is there a local restaurant just that'll do?
Let's make
Maybe
that
this
a
place
yes.
Maybe this place tonight.
Okay, so in the end, the cause of the majority of the strange subspace distortions and gravimetric waves that make up the exploration of the Shackleton Expanse is fraught with danger is the washboard triplets. This strange system consists of 3 massive white dwarf stars that orbit around each other in a complex dance. Few probes to the triplets have been launched due to the extreme space-time distortions caused by frame dragging within 10 light-years. But certain data has made the triplets a high priority for the Federation Science Council. Scans show that each of the white dwarf stars are exactly the same mass, down to the error range housed within the probe sensors. While this similarity in mass would be sufficient to interest the Federation Science Council, these same scans show that each of the white dwarf's masses are enough to overwhelm the ability for electron degeneracy pressure to prevent the collapse of the dwarf into a neutron star. Whoa. So, in the volume surrounding the triplets, there's high density of gaseous tritanium, particulate dilithium, and complex carbon chains. All of this evidence points to one of the many ancient civilizations of the galaxy engineering this system for reasons unknown. So Starfleet currently recommends any expedition in the starships to maintain at least a 5 light-year distance from the triplets. Plans are underway for a detailed survey of the system and the construction of a monitoring buoy for gravimetric and subspace waves, along with the planned construction of a heavily modified Intrepid-class vessel capable of even wider angle of pitch for its warp nacelles. Guess who that might be? Hi guys! So since you actually have the advantage of being an Intrepid-class ship and do have your, what do they call it? You are able to angle your warp field, which your captain was part of the science team that did that. I forget the actual term at the moment, but that's essentially it. So, the washboard triplets. So the good news is you don't have to get too close, but if you... It's once again that whole thing of the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So if you want to get to the system you want to get to, which is the Quazkey system, you have to get closer to the washboard triplets than you might like. But if you can manage it, then you will be essentially shortening the distance to get to the Quazkey system. Now, the washboard, if I can take us to the washboard triplets, let me just remember this configuration here. So we've got the combs in front, with the MupwIs only slightly behind, and the Vorcha slightly behind them. So we get to the washboard, you guys are slightly in front, the MupwI are damaging themselves to stay with you. The Vorcha has been managed to finally get its engines in, its engine system's working again, and therefore have managed to keep its ability to stay in the race, but in doing so they have got damage to their shields. So these guys are booking it as fast as they can book themselves to go. But the washboard is an effect that courses through much of the expanse. It consists of wave after wave of gravitational subspace distortions that make navigation difficult. So we are going for a washboard 4 effect here. Let me put that in here for you to see. What that means is the rating assigned represents the... that's a different matter entirely. This is going to be the difficulty of power-related rolls to shift the ship's nacelles to keep a stable warp field as waves of distortion wash over the vessel. Now, you guys don't have improved warp drive, do you? No. You've actually gone more combat. You do still have the advanced and high-resolution sensor suites. Thrown to the Delta Quadrant. I'd like to think that I'd like to have formed the opinion in my brain that you don't think me that derivative, but you never know. Vessels with improved warp drive will have a better time with this, but you don't. So, when first entering at warp speed or making course corrections at warp, your helm officer is also going to need to make helm-related tasks at difficulty 4 as well. And any failure in either the power regulation or the flying could result in a breach in either your ship's engines or its structure. So, with that knowledge in mind, well, I'm obviously going to be calling for Helm to give me a piloting task, but I'm also going to be calling for Ops to give me power-related regulation. It's both separate from each other. So,
Cool.
who wants to do what, and is there anything you think you want to do in order to make things a little easier? Or is it just a case of pile as many people onto the task as possible? Excuse me.
Piling. But also award piling as well.
Award piling, right. So, power-related issues is probably going to help if you bring the engineering folks on board. And anybody with any kind of maintenance or power-related foci in, which probably means that Dave is going to need to bring either Ensign Kenson or Ensign Girani. I believe Kenson's got maintenance specialist. Dave, am I right on that?
Yeah, but it doesn't stack because it'll be the first complication.
Right.
So if two of us have it, so
Oh,
that
no,
wouldn't
no,
be
no,
as
pardon me. Kenson's got more power.
Oh! Bring Kenson.
Kenson. It's Girani that's got maintenance specialist. So yeah, maybe Girani's not needed in that case. Kenson can be brought in. Or maybe at the very least Girani's talent isn't needed. So
more power whenever
you use reroute power, yeah. So the deal here is actually that's a very good point. What was the dealio with routing power? I've had problems with this before and I did find it. It's going to be in the reference cards in engineering. Engineering. That's going to be ops, not engineering, pardon me. Engineering. Ops. Reroute power. You can reroute reserve power to a specific system. The chosen system gains power which will apply to the next action using this system on 185. 185 of the core rulebook. Give me a second so I can find that. What does that mean if you reroute power? Oh my god. They're making me dance around the place. So, a character may take the reroute power action to divert reserve power to a specific system. The next time the ship uses that system to assist on a task, the ship's assisted die is counted as if it rolled a 1. So, this becomes an interesting point, We can either use, because in the power-related issue, ooh. Yeah. So if you guys complete this power balancing related issue, that means you could conceivably throw reserve power into the pot in order to make the ship's assist of the con check an automatic 1.
Yep. So we're going to throw everything at this.
So
then
this
we
is
can
going
make
to
con
be
check
a
easier.
this is going to be either a daring or a control and engineering check, but it's
Same
at
for me.
4. Difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. Okay, and who can I get to assist me? So, more
Now
power.
the ship doesn't assist here, so it's going to be people that you bring in, and
So-
Kenson gets more power, but you may spend 2 momentum to give reserve power to 2 systems rather than 1. That's interesting. But
To con and to engines.
well,
Yeah. Engineering 4. And you say it was daring and engineering. Yeah, let's bring Zorani and Kenson on. Because then with that 3, that gives me a total of 4 dice.
and someone can buy an extra.
And I can buy an extra.
All
That
right
gives
then.
us the 5 dice. And yeah, let's do that.
In that case, then, can I have Chris to be Sharajarani?
Sure.
You are rolling for either daring or control, whichever one you want to use, and engineering with maintenance as the focus. So rolling 1 dice. Kenson is rolling 1 dice as well for a similar thing, either daring or control, whichever one you think is better, with maintenance as a focus. And then Flesk is doing his thing. Right, so nothing from Kenson, 1 from Girani. It's now all going to be down, and this is, so you've got 3 successes left to make up.
Oh, have I? Okay, so I was rolling 3 dice. I'm... Ooh, what am I going to do? Desperation breeds inspiration. I will spend a
yeah.
determination.
That's a good point. Connie, remember to note in your character notes personal log that you used one of your values to do the thing with spending determination on the sensors to get through the endurance divide.
Yep.
Marvellous. By the way,
Cool.
this is episode 23. For those who want a reference point, episode 23, Strategic Location is the name of the episode.
And so I put 2 dice in the pool rather than 3 because I'm spending determination.
Yes, because you have 20 points of determination, but you're also doing something else, which is doubling your focus range. Okay.
It's really trying for this now. Come on.
Oh, I see a 1 and an 8.
Oh,
Good lordy lorks. 6, 7
That'll do.
in total. You needed 4, you got 3 over and above what was needed. Nice. So, power balancing, thanks to the engineering crew and the master of power balancing himself, it seems. And because he used daring, Flesk was very much a seat of the pants kind of thing here, just going with the feel of it rather than the precision of it. Pulling power from where he needed to, sacrificing power elsewhere, keeping power stable. So folks aren't going to get thrown around in their seats as much as they might otherwise have, and of course, your systems won't get as strained as a result of coming through this, but that all comes down to how well your helmswoman does.
so what are we doing with more power now that we've succeeded?
What you can do is you can use. I mean, you're not going to be able to use you're not going to be able to have the ship assist this twice. What you can do in an interesting turn of events is that since we've got Bonnet with hands-on pilot, we double the ship's focus range. challenge. No, that doesn't help anything if it already counts as a 1. You can spend your ship's reserve power to throw that reserve power into con, which means that the ship will then roll an automatic 1 on its test. So you've automatically got 2 successes there. It's then down to Bonnet and whether or not she thinks she needs help getting the extra 2 successes. So what do we think?
I think that's worth doing. Because it's 4 successes she needs, so giving her 2 straight away.
Yep. Means you are pulling on reserve power to throw into Helm. But, Liz, you still with us?
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, so yeah, definitely give me the 2. Then I
Okay.
can take a momentum to get me a 3rd dice.
Mhm.
And then I should be fine.
You're not going to throw in a determination or anything? You're confident in Bonnet's ability? With 3 dice. Alright, I like it. Confidence. That's what we want. I mean, that's what you need in your Helm officer, really, isn't it? Oh! Oh no! Oh, dearie die!
Oh my! Oh no!
Wow, was that
What honour do you
confidence
have?
misplaced?
The dice hate me today.
Does a determination spend?
You can
Allow you to
spend
re-roll
determination
2?
to re-roll 1 of those dice.
Oh, that's
I
at
think.
least 1.
Hang on. Let me check that it's not all of them.
No.
I might be wrong. Let me go
Is
back here.
It's just like an exploding console.
Well, quite, yeah. That's what I was going with. Let me see. Determination. Major actions, minor actions. Choose weapon,
Dice. The dice.
Damn you,
hates
dice!
me.
They betrayed you, and then they betrayed you more. Oh dear me. Right. Interesting.
It is hard to show the people at the top is a trade. With the mustache.
Yes. Unfortunately, it seems Bonnet went a little bit too balls to the wall with that there, and well, okay. Yikes. Right, I'm going to need some help here with this. It is determination. Let's roll back and see what I can find. Determination doesn't add extra dice to what now? Spending determination. When spending determination before rolling, the character chooses a d20. That die is. If you spend determination after rolling, you may re-roll any number of d20s in your dice pool. There we are. I thought that sounded a bit sus.
Nope.
You can spend your point of determination to re-roll those 2 20s. Absolutely, you can. But also remember to make a note of. Oh my God! It's determined to screw you over. But it's only 1 this time rather than 2. So okay.
Oh my God.
So maybe Fast and Furious here, and then pilot trusts their instincts as a result of... So yeah, at the very least, make a note of which value Bonnet used to spend that point of determination from to get the reroll in your personal log. Unfortunately, it still came with a complication, which means that everybody can give me the Star Trek shake. As we take a breach in the engineering section. And I am going to have an alert go off. What does that mean? I hear you cry.
Flesh wants to start gathering people for repair.
So, let's see. Does it have the same thing that it used to, where starship system damage equals certain things? Let's have a look. Engines breaches. Ooh. Now, do I go extra nasty and ask for Liz to roll to see what the breach did? Or do I do it?
I want Liz to do it. Because, let's just see what happens.
Liz, roll me a 20-sided dice, please.
Luckily, there's no good answers. Just less bad ones.
7. Alright, let's see. 7 on the engine's breaches, which is reaction control thrusters. The ship's maneuvering thrusters have been affected, limiting the ship's ability to make fine adjustments to its position and maneuver around obstacles. Ooh. So in trying to steer too close to the washboard triplets to gain a better and faster angle, unfortunately the cones drifted too close, and in order to pull away from the gravitational distortion of the washboard triplets, it strained the maneuvering systems of the ship to the point where the reaction control thrusters suffer a blowout. And so, yes, ouchies. What the hell are you doing to my ship? Screams Tavish from her quarters, because yeah, even Tavish would have been thrown around by that one. Blimey. That was pretty serious. But
And this is where Ronnie would send a response. If you weren't in the brig, none of this would happen.
so, unfortunately, the MupwI doesn't fare any better. It suffers their own engine breach, as does the Vorcha class.
See, at least we're not the only ones.
Yes, indeed. There's that, I suppose. So there you go, silver linings, positivity. Okay.
So, is it possible to do some damage control on that? So, in doing a repair, so the negative trait we've got for maneuvering or fine adjustments, if Flesk succeeds at that and spends 2 momentum, I can seal the breach as a part of repair team leader.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright then. Cool. So,
And I
Nick down to momentum then, while I find the combs. Okay, wow. Good grief. Alright. So, you finally pass the washboard triplets, and the whole jerking back and forth, swaying side to side, people getting jerked about in their seats and in their stations, starts to subside. And when you finally pull out of the washboard effects and get into the Shackleton Expanse's equivalent of clearer sailing, it gives Flesk and his coordinating repair teams enough time to get folks to the reaction control systems in order to conduct repairs. Whilst
So-
you guys are doing that, sorry, go on.
If I technically had to use a value to burn that or use that momentum, this technically would have came into effect.
When you use one of you may add 1 determination to absolutely, yes.
Woo!
Oh.
The benefits of being human. There we are. I still maintain Modiphius was having a laugh when they made that. Faith of the heart? Really? You want to be putting Star Trek Enterprise's theme song in our heads? You
Yes,
know
yes,
who you
why
are.
not?
Anyway, not my favourite Star Trek theme, as you can probably tell. Anywho. Silver linings once again. Alright, so, repair teams are sent to the reaction control systems in order to repair the damage that was done and seal the breach, or repair the breach to the system, which gives you some time to cruise along and start upping your warp speed again, which I'm presuming is back to the safe maximum of 8. It's some ways into this part of the journey that the two Klingon ships start to seriously burn their engines and do damage to their own ship systems. In which case, let me give those guys a further breach. And the MupwI is now running seriously hot, according to your sensor, showing massive, not massive explosions, but there's definitely massive overuse of their plasma reactor, to the point where they gun their engines to their absolute limit and maybe even push beyond the red line. The two Klingon ships start pulling ahead to the point where you can almost see the sparks coming out of their drive sections as they pull their two craft ahead of yours. They are going their absolute maximum and beyond to pull ahead of you in some kind of last-ditch effort, maybe, but you've still got a fair amount of distance to go. You're getting closer by all means. It's not quite the end of the race yet, but the two Klingon ships are damaging themselves to bring themselves forwards. And it's at this point that there is a sensor alert on both the tactical and the sensor stations held by Garrow and Gurkow respectively, that tell you that the Klingon ships, both of them, are channeling power through their cloaking devices, but not to cloak. They are now dumping tachyons out. So whilst your sensors are reading this sudden increase in tachyons coming off of each of the two Klingon ships, you then, on your display screen, on your viewer screen, see the Klingon ships start to turn inwards. They don't collide, they kind of cross over one another. And as your ship flies through the wake, the ship judders, and alert klaxons, pardon my tripping of my own tongue there, start to sound. The Klingon ships part ways, then they both pull in again and start crisscrossing over and over again, causing this weird wake of energy, almost like they're creating a helix kind of pattern. And the ship is now starting to rumble and grind as you are being bounced around inside of this tachyon wake that they are creating. So, the deck is starting to rumble beneath your feet, and your ability to maintain a coherent warp bubble is starting to degrade as you're basically being, I keep using those words, as you're being bombarded with tachyons in this weird crisscrossy effect that they're doing in front of you. So, where are we? Strategic location. We are going to need a extended task to get yourself out of these disruptive tachyon eddies that the Klingon ships are creating. And I am entirely leaving it to your discretion to come up with a way to do that. Any Treknobabble, or even non-Treknobabble, actually coherent science, if you want to try and use that. Any ideas that you can think of to get yourself out of this disruptive, or to negate this disruptive tachyon eddies?
Do we still have that energy dump from the spore drive? A way that we were venting out excess energy. Can we modify that to absorb and redirect this tachyon trap?
What was it? It was... That was a... Ooh, we actually had a nice term for it, didn't we? When we developed this for your displacement activated spore hub drive. The engineering crew were very, very proud of themselves for it as well, and rightly so. Was it Bridge to Everywhere, or was it... No, it was the rescue mission, wasn't it, that you did it for? So let me find the notes on that. Let me see. Right, so... Spores... Go to subsphere... The cavitation mechanism. So that was the thing that was going to dump out the excess kinetic energy. It was a kinetic capacitor, that was it. It was storing and venting kinetic energy out into space. You want to see if you can change it from kinetic energy to tachyon energy in order to absorb the tachyon energy and then either vent it or redirect it. Interesting. Any other thoughts on this, or any other ideas? Because tachyons are faster than light particles. Let me get what Memory Alpha says about tachyons. Just in case it gives anybody else some ideas. So they are subatomic particles that exist at faster than light velocities. Produced as a byproduct of temporal distortions. They can exist naturally. And can be produced artificially. And they can also exist as byproducts, like cloaking devices. Tachyons can be utilized in a number of ways, such as scans, even weapons, and even as a means of communication. But I think the means of communication was used by the temporal... the Department of Temporal Affairs, or whatever they're called? What is the name of the department in Starfleet who...
I think that's correct, yeah. Department of Temporal Affairs. I think that's right.
I think it's like temporal investigations.
Thank you. I thought the Department of Temporal Affairs sounded a little bit too... like they actually did interfere. So temporal investigations. That sounds about right. So yeah, I don't know. Any other ideas to go with, or are we going with Mark's idea of changing the kinetic capacitor?
Or a better version of what I said, even if you don't.
Or a better version, yeah.
Because that was just the first idea I had.
I mean, any science ideas from the science department, or engineering ideas from the engineering department?
It's gonna sound crazy.
Oh, those are the best ones.
But I'm thinking anti-grav sled, but anti-tachyon sled.
Huh.
Put it on the bottom of our ship, and we're gonna surf those waves.
Somehow ride the eddies.
By redirecting it. Yep.
Creating anti-tachyon. Wow. What would anti-tachyons even do? They would be... Would they be faster than light? Would they just be just a flip resonance? Because if they were strictly anti-tachyons, then surely they would be slower than light speeds. Would they make you go back in time, maybe?
No, instead of faster than light, it's faster than dark. It's just darkness going in the opposite direction.
Well... That's a good point. If it's faster than light, would anti-tachyons be faster than dark matter? Rather than photons? Ooh, this is making my technobabble brain go loopy. It is an interesting thought. Take tachyons, or find a way of flipping tachyons so that rather than being disruptive, they work to your advantage. That's an interesting thought. So rather than just absorb them, send them somewhere else, could you negate them somehow and then use it as a floating along in a stream of them? Ooh. Alright then, both of those sound very interesting to me. Anyone else? Dave, you're in engineering. You got any engineering hijinks you would like to try? Or Chris, with all your Trek knowledge? Because I think you're...
No, I got nothing at the moment.
Got nothing?
Another grease monkey.
Um,
I mean, do either of those two ideas sound good, or can you think for one of yourself?
I would actually. The idea I had was more towards what Connie said.
Ooh.
Kind of reversing the polarities in whatever they're using.
Hmm. So
So
counteract
it
it.
doesn't- Yeah, so it's not just like kind of switching it, it's also like a feedback loop.
Ooh. Interesting. Somehow send something back along the trail that they're using to disrupt it.
So
Almost
so
like lighting the gases on an exhaust.
yeah, it's yeah, yeah. So it affects them and not us. So
Interesting. So that's one idea for absorb the tachyons and send them somewhere. To flip the tachyons or find a way of negating the tachyons and riding it, or negating the disturbance and riding the disturbance, to negating the disturbance and sending something back up the disturbance trail.
I think all three ideas together work. I'm not even.
No, actually,
you know,
okay.
From you just explaining it like that, yeah, it's basically a process, isn't it? So
Yeah,
we would,
yeah. All part of the
we
same
would-
idea, really.
we would ride it while taking in the riding the wave while taking in what we need to, and then
Alerting
pushing
it back.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, actually, I see what you mean. You can incorporate all three ideas. Liz, what do you think? Because we're getting some really fun ideas here. Have you got anything to contribute?
Ah.
Because these are so far very good ideas.
Hmm. The only thing I'm trying to think on is how can I play this to my advantage to get another determination back?
You need to make it difficult. You need to introduce a complication somehow to the situation to get a determination back, essentially.
No, you could do that just by rolling dice. We get plenty.
Well,
of
I don't mean a complication as in a roll of a 20. I mean you could introduce some situation that would make this more difficult for everybody else to do.
I've got a suggestion.
Go on.
If Liz doesn't mind. If you want the determination back, yeah. How about putting in this, making it harder by it is not just doing all of that, but also that shunting us to go even faster.
It does involve pushing the engines, maybe past their safety. But you're talking about trying to change the way the engines work to using tachyons or anti-tachyons to propel yourselves. So either way, you're doing some serious monkeying to the engines. So,
Oh, I'm not.
Or she could also try to make it complicated because she's trying to improve the engines. Because if it ain't broke, improve it anyways.
it's, if
Improve
you're
the engines.
so if you're willing to suffer the upping of the difficulty of this extended task, I will allow you to regain a point of determination. because basically Monet is pushing the ship as hard as she can to keep from losing the lead you've got, to keep it from slowing down, which means you will be putting strain on the systems in order to do, and therefore making things more difficult for everybody, and trying to do the work with the overcoming the tachyon eddies. So I am good with that, if everybody else is okay with it. Or actually, come to think of it, you don't have to have everybody else being okay with it. If you want to get your determination back, that's how it'll do.
You can just do it.
And
Yeah.
that'll be that. You'll get your determination point back. It raises the difficulty for the task. If that's what you want to do, that's what we can do. Do it.
Matt, I've got a question for you. This
Yeah.
is a like game system question.
Sure.
Yeah. Could you make a task more difficult to gain your determination back, and also spend that determination straight away?
I see no reason why not.
Oh, okay.
Is this for future reference or for...
It is for future reference, don't worry.
So I can make things both harder on everybody, but in doing so, give myself the ability to make this go even better, or at least spend a point of determination again. Yes, you can. You can generate the determination point by making things more difficult for yourself and or others, and that'll give you the point of determination to then spend on something. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, but could you spend it in that action as
Yes,
well?
yes, I'm fine with that.
Oh, lovely.
All I'll say is everybody else should be very scared that Dave now has this in his head as something that can now be done.
Why?
Because it's you, and we know how much you like making things difficult. Because
I don't know.
it's fun.
Out of everyone, I think I've been making it more difficult because I want my determination.
Yes, but that at least puts you both in competition with each other, which, is more fun for me.
No, you should be worried that both of us know this.
Yes, so both of you now have this tool in your arsenal, as it were. Okay, alright then. So, it seems like we're going to combine all of this to somehow draw in the tachyons, flip their resonance, in order to create a buffer field around the ship to then ride the tachyons, in order so that they don't disrupt your ship's ability to maintain speed, and then also channel it back somehow along this feed. So that sounds like more work than I initially had you pegged for. So I'm gonna make this... I'm gonna make that this much of a extended task now. So, and because somebody's making it more difficult for you, the difficulty of this is going to be 5 initially.
Sorry, Bonet's in the cockpit. She is free as a bird.
Now, I will say you still have characters like Captain Sobek and Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang, who are supporting characters who haven't been activated yet, who haven't lent their point of determination. I would say the emergency medical drone as well, but he has less to do in this situation than somebody like Sobek or Lian Zhang could to lend their determination points with. Likewise, Garrow has got a point of determination as well he could use, potentially. Flesk and Gurkau have both used theirs, and Kenson and Girani don't have any, but Bonnet has just regained some. This sounds to me like it's mostly going to be an engineering-related issue, but you can, at the very least, have the engineers, or just Kenson, lead, whilst asking for help from other major characters, so you still have flexibility on who you want to bring on board. This sounds like the first step, at least, is going to be in converting the kinetic capacitor to take tachyons, which is quite the feat, because kinetics from ship cavitation is one thing. Trying to capture faster-than-light subatomic particles is another. Might suggest you might need to change the Bussard collectors as well. In order to, change the Bussard collectors, which you can then channel into the capacitor. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen here. So this sounds like a lot of daring and engineering stuff initially to get used.
Is there any potential for quantum mechanics or physics?
Absolutely, because we are dealing with faster than light subatomic particles.
Okay.
So we are talking widgy science here.
Ensign aversion, if you wish.
Excellent. Have we activated Ensign aversion once already?
I'm not sure.
Who have we used?
Maybe.
We've used Garrow, definitely.
Garrow.
We've used Ensign Ravelon.
One. We've used.
Oh, we used Dufresne.
And we've used Rani.
Now we decided not to use Jirani afterwards, didn't we?
No, we did.
Or did we did use her? So you've got one left, so that could be aversion. You could definitely you can activate Ensign aversion, and he can add his quantum mechanics to this.
But you could also choose someone with determination, I suppose.
There's that. There's that. It depends on how you want to go. So, it comes down to, like I said, daring and engineering for the engineering crew who are going to be doing this. The ship, unfortunately, cannot help, but it's going to be all about the crew working together. If you want aversion to come on, that's easy one help. You don't need to pay any momentum for that. If you want someone else to come on and help, then you're going to need to pay a momentum for it. Who would you like? Now, bearing in mind that the difficulty for this is kind of high. It's very high. 5.
Is this an extended task?
It is an extended task, so everybody
Cool.
who's got stuff to do with extended tasks is welcome on this one.
So if I get involved, I've got in the nick of time, increases impact by 1 if we succeed.
Excellent. So definitely seems like having Flask on board is a good idea. Is there anybody else? Go on, sorry.
As long as we're using reason or control, I ignore any resistances.
So as long as you use control and engineering, then yes. It would make a certain amount of sense for Bonnet to be involved as well if you're changing the Bussard collectors. Because that would then allow you to use your warp theory. So bringing in Flask and Bonnet would be a good idea. And Eversion on top, so we're talking a 2 momentum spend to get folks involved.
Okie dokie.
Alright then, so I'll take 2 momentum out. So this is going to be 2 dice for Kenson. That's okay, Chris. 1 for Flask, 1 for Bonnet, 1 for Eversion. Since Eversion is your boy, Connie, you may as well jump in. This is going to be reason and science for... well done, Liz. This is going to be reason and science for Eversion. This is definitely going to be either daring or control and engineering for Flask. I don't think it matters with Flask, does it?
No, they're all 10.
Cool.
They're all the same.
Bonnet has already contributed a wicked good success there. Same goes for Flask. Okay, so far so good. Next we're looking at Mr. Eversion. So Connie, if you could... Okay, no successes there.
You can also re-roll.
He can, he's got assistant.
Plus, if he does succeed, he can ignore resistance. In an extended task.
So he can definitely re-roll that, so by all means, Connie, you get a free re-roll.
He has the same thing I do. Yay, you have scrutiny.
Yes. So, Connie, by all means, give us the re-roll. That's better! Look at that! Starfleet, baby! Which means it's now down to Ensign Carly Kenson.
Hey, we have 6 successes already.
Yeah, we've got 6, so you've got 1 over already. So anything that Carly Kenson puts into this is going to be extra.
Control, engineering.
Yes.
No focuses.
Warp
for a
field
guest.
dynamics definitely are going to go into this as a focus. Yes, 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 yes.
Rolling 2.
Rolling 2. What have we got? 15 and 10, which is still 1, so we get 7 successes overall. You get 2 momentum back. And so, we use Kenson, who is in charge. She gives us 4, but we also get flasks in the nick of time, so that you increase impact by 1. Nice, 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 nice. Bonnet allows us to ignore that stuff, as does Eversion, so we're all good on that. Now, do you want to keep both of those extra momentums that went into it? Or do you want to spend one or both of them on getting even more work progress done?
I'd say spend it for more progress.
Now, let me just quickly check with the rulebook about extended tasks, because I know they've changed a lot of the rules on what you can spend momentum on and how much. Because sometimes extended tasks can be momentum spends can be 2 to add a dice, or add 1 thing, or it's 2. Let me have a quick old look through. Additional progress during an extended task, add 1 impact for 2 momentum. Yes, so you would gain 1 extra on the work track if you spent those 2 momentum that you got. Unless somebody wants to burn one of their Legion of Honors or the Medal of Honor.
Can I offer mine up, even though, because I've not loads.
I think it's fair.
Of the engineering side of things, so
I think it's fair. Sure.
Okie dokie. Well, I've got 2 Legion of Honors
So
ready to go.
cheering from the sidelines, Dr. Sot helps everybody out by, once per mission, you may perform one of the following. Gain 2 bonus momentum on a successful task. Doesn't say it has to be yours. So you can keep those 2 momentum in the pool, and therefore up the success by 1. Or you could also spend the 2 momentum in the pool that you just gained by upping the track again. What's your fancy? Leave it in the pool just in case, or spend it to gain some extra track.
Spend it. We can get momentum easily, right?
Yeah.
All right, which means you have done more than about 50% of the work, which means you hit your first breakthrough. And if we remember, with breakthroughs, you can... Now, what was it? It was breakthroughs. The first is at the 50%, then it's at the 75%. There was a thing as to what you could do with breakthroughs. Where is it? It was, if I recall, something along the realms of lower the difficulty, or... God damn it, what was it? Breakthroughs. Let me look for breakthroughs. It's not being all that clear. Extended task is... These are extended consequences. I'm not reading those, we don't need that. Breakthrough. The situation changes in some way. Yes, there was a guide as to what to do for breakthroughs, though. Let's find it. Oops, missed the button. That's for shields. breakthrough effects. Here we are. Increase or reduce the difficulty by 1. Reduce or increase the difficulty, the resistance, pardon me, by 1. The next roll made against the problem gains a +2 on its impact. Or the problem reduces the difficulty of tasks elsewhere in the scene, or it creates a trait. I would say bring the difficulty down because it's pretty high.
I think so.
Groovy. Okay, so you've now successfully altered the Bussard collectors and the capacitor. Now you need to alter the shield emitters and the deflector so that they repel the tachyon eddies coming at you and allow you to surf them. So this again sounds like a control or daring and engineering type thing. Anybody who's got any expertise with, again, Ouija science, so aversions, quantum mechanics, or warp field theory, or shields, and that kind of thing would be a definite good idea. So, I'm assuming once again that the engineering team needs to get involved in this because they're going to need to make the changes. So is Kenson going to lead, or is Kenson going to only assist this time, do we think? Dave, it's up to you.
I'm not really too fussed.
Okay, the
I can
only thing I can recommend then is Kenson's engineering rating is 4.
Yes.
If somebody has a higher engineer rating, they will have that extra progress they will make along the progress track.
So
That's yeah, so me. And I suppose maintenance specialist, not maintenance specialist, in the nick of time, it's every time I succeed as a part of an extended task, it increases impact by 1.
So that still applies.
Yeah, cool, I'll help.
Okie dokie. Does Bonnet still want to get involved, or do we think we should have Liz roll as another character, perhaps? Maybe Girani? Or do we want to keep Bonnet in this because of how well she's been doing recently? Or, you know, actually...
It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up, okay?
Up to you guys, what do you think? Who do you want to get involved in this task?
Ronnie does have maintenance specialist too.
And she does have maintenance as a focus. So... Her focus maybe isn't the best, since it's not warp field theory, or quantum mechanics, or shields, or deflectors, or anything like that. Actually, who does? Garrow's got shields. Person in the brig, yeah. Unfortunately, due to the nature of working off your reprimands, you can't.
Yeah, no. These are tasks which Tavish
would have been all over if she weren't in the brig. Now, yes, unfortunately, we've run out of supporting characters that we can field, so it's everybody that you've fielded so far. Ravalon's engineering is only 2. Eversion is going to be using science, obviously, if he uses his quantum mechanics to stay on this. Garrow has engineering of 3, but nothing to do with shields, but he does have warp engines. It's a toughie. I can't pretend this is an easy one to field. Unless you want to do what Mark has said previously, which is have the core lot of people, Flask, Kenson, maybe Eversion, and leave the rest of the spaces open for expenditure on dice. Which is a good point, actually.
I don't mind. Can we get Bonnet? I still don't mind getting Bonnet involved.
Which will cost a point of momentum.
If anybody's got, I mean, it's either that or add another dice.
Actually, that's a
Or
good
use
point.
it. I mean, and nobody has a determination use.
Except for Bonnet.
Except for Bonnet. So Aversion, Kenson, and Flesk. Well, Aversion and Kenson don't have determinations, so it's only Flesk, and Flesk doesn't have one.
Great.
Yep, mine's been spent.
So using the momentum to add Bonnet, even though we can't use the determination.
Well, she's got warp theory, so she should still be able to contribute in some fashion.
Exactly.
Everybody good for that?
Yep.
Now,
who's lead?
this will also cost you the 2 momentum in the pool. Because you have the lead and an assistant. 1 extra, 1 momentum. 2 extra, 2 momentum.
Oh, we didn't add the momentum when I gained my determination. Because of faint of heart.
I thought we did.
Yeah, we did actually. Faith of the Heart, we did.
Yep.
That was for the spinning.
What?
Because it's for spending and gaining as long as you use
Oh, that was
value.
a good point actually. Oh, no, we did. Spending and gaining.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone spent on the last one, so we are actually good for we are on point for the momentum.
Yeah.
Because 2, we
Yeah,
went up to
we
4,
have
but
it.
then spent the 2 that you gained in order to up your progress on the progress track. So
Spend those momentums, we can get them back. I believe in this crew.
Yeah, we're good. We got this.
Okay.
alrighty,
got
momentum
this.
spent. So that's 2 for Flesk, 1 for Aversion, 1 for Kenson, 1 for Bonnet. No one else can join in. No one else can buy any more dice. Essentially the same as what we just did. That's a 6. That's really good. Well done, Kenson. 13 and a 9 are both 1 successes each. Yes, we only need 1 more to succeed at this.
Oh.
Come on, Flesh.
So it's
Come
all
on, is there a
on Flex.
focus? Power system stretch. I don't think a focus.
Yeah, hang on. Warp field dynamics,
Experiment.
deflector shield, force field technology. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's do it. Come on.
Oh. 2 dice.
You
mate.
are rolling 2 dice, my dude. So
Oh, I'm rolling 2 dice. My bad.
roll another one.
Better. Yes, that's better.
Much, much better. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is successful. That's 2 over the difficulty. So 2 go back in the momentum dice. We got Flask's engineering of 5 plus 1 extra. Means that you have now gone past the 3/4 point, which means that you get another breakthrough, which you can use to lower the difficulty again. Which I presume is what we're doing, lowering it down to 3.
Yep.
Cool. So this is it then, the final bits of alterations that need making. This is going to be the bit that projects energy back up the tachyon eddies so that it impacts the Klingons' engines. So this is once again definitely going to need diversion because you're playing around with faster than light subatomic particles. What else? I mean, anybody with warp field theory again, but anybody with experimental tech or using things as if they're not
I've
meant
got-
to be used?
I've got experimental tech.
You do. Again, Tavish would be all over this, but she is tearing her hair out in her quarters. Let me help!
I just feel
I
like
do have ecoplasma power systems. If that helps.
I would think your propulsion would work better because you're trying to... Actually, no, it's the sending it back. You've already done the propulsion thing. Sending the energy back. It would be more warp field theory. So yeah, you could get Bonnet in on this. Definitely a version. Flask again. It's going to be a momentum spend to get all three of you involved in, but now the difficulty is down to 3.
It's worth it.
All right then, but this is daring and engineering, or daring and science for all. Because this is something that's never been tried before.
Cool.
Yep, there's no resistance whatsoever because of this, so both Bonnet and Aversion have got it, so daring and daring and engineering, or daring and science.
Let's get that Legion of Honor banked ready
Well,
for some bonus momentum.
If I can use science, I'm gonna definitely use science. Science is a little bit better.
Okay, then if that's what you want to do, then that's what we're doing. Yep, science goes better.
Cool.
Because you're trying to use the science of it to propel energy back along the feed, so never mind. But Eversion comes in again. We've got one success, we need 2 more.
I'm tempted to steal another dice, guys.
Yep, you've got 1 more that you can use.
Right. Unless someone says otherwise, I've stolen it.
No one's
3
saying
dice.
anything, so...
3 dice with focus. Go on.
Would you look at that?
That will do it.
Would you look at that?
And it was the last one that got it.
It was.
It was the last.
Indeed. The last one that came in. You wouldn't have done it otherwise. Well done. Alright, so you've completed modifications. Now, luckily, nothing went badly wrong. You have been losing your speed, I suppose, as they've been disrupting your warp field, so you have been falling behind a bit. But Bonnet has been gunning the engines in order to try and keep your position as well as you can, so I am going to say that your induction coils at this point, the intact ones, you're showing, engineering teams are showing that the non-damaged induction coils on several decks are now starting to show signs of overheating, as power is being put through the system in order to try and maintain the ship's speed as it's rumbling along through these tachyon eddies. But you have now made the modifications to the ship required, and you shunt power through these new systems in order to start pulling on the tachyons, altering them so that you can skim over them, and the ship starts to skirt ahead. Slowly but surely, to the point where you use the momentum generated from the forward motion that you're now creating through this lack of resistance to start gradually pulling ahead of the Klingons. As you watch, I mean, you can practically have somebody go up to one of the port or starboard side windows and just wave at the Klingons. You're all so close at this point. So you pass right through the middle of the Klingons, even as their ships keep crisscrossing to create these eddies. And then, as the cone starts pulling in front, the sensors once again read that the Klingons are putting power back into their engines, pushing as hard as they can. The Vorcha suffers some other problem in their engineering block. But it's as you start pulling forwards that both Tactical and Gurkhau's sensor station reads that there is signs of a massive critical power buildup in the MupwI's engines. Their power plant is on the verge of going critical, and then all of a sudden there's a big bloom of energy that suggests that there was some kind of explosion on the MupwI, and the MupwI drops, just crashes out of warp. The last thing your sensors got was an indication that the MupwI had suffered a critical damage to its power plant, and it could result in a core breach if not repaired. So, the Combs is now on a comfortable lead. The Vorcha cruiser is pushing itself hard to keep up, but the MupwI is now in danger of detonating. What would you like to do?
Should we give them a hail? Be like, stop your engines, stop everything.
Well, at this point, from the last of what you're... sorry, go on, Chris.
I agree with what Connie said.
The problem with that is that they've suffered a major core breach, which... or not core breach, but certainly the core going critical, which means they've suffered power loss to pretty much all of their systems. Which means that even if you sent them a communication, they wouldn't necessarily receive it.
How many people are on that ship?
A lot. If I can get a reading on what a Vorcha's... it's a Cavort, pardon me, not a Vorcha. A Cavort class Klingon battle cruiser. Cavort. Actually, no, that's the Klingon warrior. The Cavort class that was named after him. Crew complement of about 12, apparently. No, that's a bird of prey. That can't be right.
So the Kvarch class is a battle cruiser with a crew of 800 and the
There we
length
go.
of 350 meters. The Klingon ship is identified as a bird of prey class. That's the complement of 12, which is a bird of prey.
Yeah, so that's the Burrell class.
We can't beam them all into a storage bay or something there.
To do that, you would have to drop out of the warp, circle back around and grab them.
And that's assuming they wouldn't instantly try to attack us when we beam them on board, because we are at war.
That comment depends on how much faith you've got in the crew of the MupwI.
Yeah.
Please.
Ugh.
I say we save them as best we can.
Okay, that's one vote for save them. That will mean that you'll be dropping out of warp, turning around, going back, and the Cavort class cruiser will be allowed to carry right on.
And they will attack the station.
And they will probably find the sensor array and destroy it, yes. So what is worth more to you, the mission or your friends on the MupwI?
MupwI.
That's 2 votes for the MupwI.
MupwI.
That's 3 votes for the MupwI.
Bonnie's already laying in a course for the Mupwai.
Okay.
Yeah. We should also hail the other ship and ask why the cowards are running away. Try and get them to come back and help.
Good shout.
The response you'll get from that is is that they will be the victors, and you are the ones who are running away.
You have no honor.
And the response to that would be there is honor in victory. And in turning around, you are allowing them this victory.
I wish Tavish was here because I would be.
We could always we could turn around and just.
You know what? Just as we turn around, you know what? Yeah, just hack into their system and take off life support. See,
on the Vorcha? Yeah. Yeah, let's
right, war crimes it is. Okay then.
Alright, no.
No, just hack into the system and permanently lock them out of control of their engines as we shut it down.
It
No,
wasn't
I
a
don't-
war crime. It was just a prank, bro.
I don't want Captain
Well-
to have a reprimand.
This
Try-
does introduce an idea that you could possibly try and do. It might not stop them for all that long. It depends on how long it takes them to get their system back and up and running, because if you want to try and delay the cavort so that give you time to circle back around and help the MupwI guys, you could
I'd
try
argue
that.
I'd argue the caveat of not mucking with their life support, but
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
and slow them down as well if possible.
But the
Maybe-
time you spend keeping track with the cavort to hack into their systems is time you're not spending helping the MupwI. So
Can we not do like an A team and a B team?
there's an idea.
Yep, I can't give them laying in a course to the MupwI because it requires flying.
I mean, I'm
Yep.
a doctor, so I'm gonna go on the rescue the team, or rescue the crew.
Yeah, so, Dr. Sotwood sounds like he's definitely up for some kind of mission to help the MupwI, so what's it going to be, guys? Does the...
Let's help them. Damn
So, are you going to try and spend time in disabling the cavort, or are you just going to give up on that and go and help the MupwI as fast as possible?
We don't really have time, do we? Like, if they're about to blow, would it not make sense that we try and save them as quickly as possible, then speed up?
Which was
I
the
mean-
ship that fell for our diversion last time, where we spawned a massive battleship on the.
That was the cavort class.
Okay, I think they fought it twice.
Yeah. Do you pull the same crap again? Yeah.
Exactly the same specs.
It's like they'd be like, surely they wouldn't try the same thing on us twice. That's got to be the real thing, right?
The double bluff. Right, gotcha. Yes, do they... Well, if that's what you want to try. Do you want to try that?
I do, yeah.
I do think we should split into two teams to do this. Okay, let's do it for fun.
Yay!
And we haven't necessarily got to spawn the same ship. What if we spawned like a Klingon ship, like a really important Klingon ship? Can we do that?
Wouldn't they just
To
ignore
what
it?
end?
'Cause-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's oh look, there's another ship.
It's like, oh, it's the manager. Hang on.
Well, let's go even faster to show off. Like that. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
think that
well,
would work.
Maybe
that
our
could be
Klingon
one or the
ship
other,
then.
yeah.
What about a Dominion ship?
Ooh. Wouldn't that be interesting? So
Yeah,
far,
the
the Dominion has not penetrated this far into space, into this space. Most people know about the Dominion, and it's
That would
the
get their
Dominion
attention.
are the reason why the Federation and the Klingon Empire have fallen out, because the Klingons believe that the Cardassian civilian government overthrew the military one because they were getting help from the Dominion.
I think that might work.
That sounds like an interesting diversion. Alright, this is something that's going to need to be cobbled together quickly and roughly, so I'm going to give this a difficulty of 3 to do. Anybody who's got ship specs, anything... Well, what did we do last time? Somebody who's got sensors and how to mess with them would be good, which sounds like Gurkhau's job. And who did we use last time for this? Was it Dufresne? Because she's got sensors as well.
Yeah, I think it was probably.
So it was Gurkhau and Dufresne last time that were messing around with diversionary tactics. Oh, and it was Bonnet because you remote piloted a shuttle. That was it. It wasn't a probe. It was a
Yes.
shuttle.
Yep, it was one of our one of the shuttles.
So I
maybe
will
this
say
shuttle
that.
actually remote pilot the shuttle into him.
Well, I will say that the modifying the shuttle in this fashion will take time. Again, time you might not necessarily want to take away from rescuing the MupwI crew. So you could probably do it with a probe, create a false sensor blip. It won't be as complete a diversion as the thing you did at first with the shuttle, but if you create the sensor shadow of a Dominion ship, that would likely get their attention At least for a time,
Yeah.
depending on how well you did it.
Worth a try.
Yeah.
Okay.
It buys us some time.
So, I mean, if you've only got one momentum left in your pool, I will note. So, Gurkow and Dufresne, if you want anybody else to get on board with this, like Bonnet, it would cost you that one momentum.
Let's try and build that pool back up.
Hmm.
Now, like I said, this is going to be difficulty 2, 3, 2.
I do have
I'm going to be nice and
Starcross.
lower it to 2. You do have Starcross.
I used one last time, but I have
One left.
one more.
Aha.
Yeah. Also, like Legion of Honor,
Mhm.
or the Medal of Honor, and did the well, it's always science. I mean, do I take that one momentum to use to the reading?
That's up to you. Do you want to bank? Do you want to bank on your ability to succeed by choosing your higher stat? I mean, similarly, Dufresne is not as good at engineering as she is science, so the two of you are going to be using science anyway. So I would say that did the reading is not necessary.
But it will double my focus.
But it will double your focus range.
Yes. And it's once per, I guess, task. A single scene. If everyone is happy, then
Go
maybe
for it.
I'll just do that.
Last gasp.
Go
Alright,
on
let's
then.
try this.
Go for it.
Dave, can we get you to be Dufresne, please? Control and science, if you please, from Dufresne, 1 dice using a focus.
Using the focus, 1 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Eh.
1 success. Alright then. Is Bonnet's not in on this, is she? I forget, is Bonnet in on this? Or is she not? Is it just Dufresne and Gurkow? You've only got 1 more success to make up, so you may as well keep it to just Gurkow. So you can refill the momentum pool.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see how we do.
So actually no, I got confused between the reading and Starcross.
Right, gotcha.
Since I'm using science already and my god focus.
Okay.
So Starcross, control. Was it control or daring? Sorry.
This is gonna be control. Or, daring if you want to hodgepodge it.
I'll hodgepodge, alright. I'm more
Alright, then.
daring than I have control.
Fair enough.
Starcross.
Crossing wires that shouldn't necessarily be crossed, but somehow they work.
Exactly. So the Legion of Honor when necessary.
Okay, so Legion of Honor on standby. Those are good rolls. Good gravy. There goes the momentum back into the pool. Actually, more than that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, so you've created what you think is an extremely convincing sensor ghost of a Dominion ship, which, if launched in the proper direction, will at the very least get their attention. Because you've got to imagine, when it comes down to priority targets, a Dominion ship all of a sudden appearing in the area and flying towards them or in the nearby area, at least if you angle it in the direction of the Klingon Empire, will get their attention very quickly, so it could make them drop out of warp, turn around, investigate, which will buy you some time. Which allows you, now, the ability that you've launched that very convincing probe, to drop out of warp, spin around, and head back to the MupwI. Now, There'll be no task needed for that because it's just dropping out of warp, turning around and re-engaging warp. You have the location of where the MupwI last was when you got there, when you lost sight of them, pardon me. So I will say, let me get... When have we been on the MupwI? Have we been on the MupwI before?
I think they have when they were trying to prove Hopkins's innocence.
That's right. That would be Secrets and Lies. Oh, what did I do to that? Do. Excuse me. Let me try and find where I left the MupwI's engineering section. Or do I use the Doka batch? Let's grab this one. Failed to save change. Well, thank you for doing that. Alright then, let's... improvise. Nope. For some reason I hit something else there. How'd you spell MupwI again? MupwI! Let's have a quick look. Right, so there's the bridge. Here's the engineering section. Nice. You guys are currently on deck one of that, so let me make sure you can see this. Global illumination. And le finalement. Narendra Station. Klingons. The MupwI crew. There we go. Okay, right then. So, when the Combs pulls back around and drops back out of warp, you find the MupwI is listing. It's just drifting dead in space. You can see there's plasma venting going off in some places, but it looks like their main power is offline. They're on emergency backup power. Sensors tell you that there are a number of casualties in the engineering section due to the excessive explosions that have been going on in that area. So it's not entirely clear exactly how many casualties there are because, unfortunately, the... pardon me, I'm trying to spell whilst I'm speaking. Okay, so the number of casualties isn't obvious because the amount of radiation interference being given off by their engine core. But you are able to pull up alongside the MupwI. You reckon you have a case of minutes before their reactor goes critical. So, who is going across to the ship?
We're not just going to beam them on.
Are you good? Well,
We haven't got. I was going to say, do we have enough space to hold?
they have
How
got
many crew?
more crew than you have got space to accommodate, I reckon. Because, as Liz says, there's like 500 of them.
Do we just try and stabilize their ship so they're dead?
Yeah.
They're at 800. Their crew complement is
800, so that's a lot. That's a lot to
But-
jam, unless you're going to rack them.
So if the rest of the crew are okay with this, I suggest having the doc go over to help with injured, having Fless and maybe one of the engineering teams go over there to try and balance out the engine so it doesn't go critical. You know, they can repair it afterwards, but as long as we can like sort out, you know, make sure it doesn't go critical and go boom. I don't know if we want to take anybody else.
So far we've got Dr. Sott, and who else is going? Kenson?
We're also just beaming on a ship with a faction we're at war with. Are we sure they're going to be receptive to us turning up on the ship?
Well, that's a question, isn't it?
Alright, get the captain to say we're sending help.
Again, they've got no
power.
comms, they've got no power. Yeah.
Do it.
Another reason for me to go over is my whole like warm welcome thing.
Yep.
I'm a diplomat.
Yeah, so
Who else is going over then with Dr. Sott?
I
Go on.
so Blesk, not Kenson.
You want
Let's
Shirani
take
over?
Shirani over because maintenance specialist.
Good.
If we've got the room, I'd like to take the EMD as well. Like 800 Klingons is a lot for one doctor.
Not all of them are injured, but there's significant injuries in at the very least the engineering section. So,
Can we take a Gurkha as well? I know Gurkha isn't an engineer, but with
You can restrain them.
no, well, not It's the she can beat up anybody anytime she wants. Even the Klingon, but also the statistical probability focus coming into helping us out.
Oh.
And you know, let's take Bonnet as well. I don't know. Do we want Bonnet here, or do we want Bonnet over on Klingon ship?
I mean, she could always make sure, you know, the Klingon ship's broken, but you know, what's not if it's not broken, you can still repair it.
All right, then. Yeah.
okay.
So,
6 of you.
So, is that all of us? Yeah, that's the whole team. Yeah, Chris, Connie, Dave. There's a yeah.
Yep, because he has so someone has to be either Kinson or Johnny.
Yep. Okay, let's move 2 to one side. Let's move 2 to the other side.
If it comes to it, can we just be left on the Klingon ship and the captain can like just carry on with the mission?
Well, you've already lost ground. Do you want to just beam folks over and then fly off?
If that's the
any
case,
other Klingon ship, I'd say no. But because you know we've got a rep with these guys already.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but there's 800 of them. If we get their ship working, they're just going to take us prisoner.
Well, again, that depends on how much faith you've got in the crew of the MupwI.
I think the captain is going to be susceptible.
I mean, even
if a Vulcan, he's like logical. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's great."
Dave,
we could put. Hold on, there you go. So,
yeah,
if they all get beamed across, the cones heads off to the thingy. We've got Lian Zhang. The only station. There's only 2 stations which haven't been used. Is
So you do have substitutes who can fill in. I mean, Dufresne has got sensors; she can operate the science station, and technically, your transporter chief Zonvagor can fill in for the operations officer if need be. So you do have folks who can stand in for others.
Yeah, Nezuro is going to stay on board for the medical stuff as well.
Yeah.
So
I think the ship leaving is a terrible idea. Let's hope that our distraction means we can regain ground. I wouldn't leave us on a Klingon ship.
But I can just imagine the second Leon Zhang sees the con, she's like, what the heck?
yes. It's been made a complete mess of, but yes, there we are. So, final thoughts. Are you keeping the combs, or are you setting the combs off to try and keep the race going?
We haven't got to set the combs off immediately. We have got that deterrent.
Yes, but the deterrent is a bit of a distance away as well, so...
We could always have them leave us a shuttle.
That's also assuming we don't need to emergency evac because we can't save this ship.
Well,
That is true.
that's a point.
That's a good point.
So I'd still want the...
The ship in orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Everybody else see the logic of that?
Yeah, let's just be quick.
Yeah.
Quick
All right,
5
then.
minutes.
So, very quickly.
Zhang's like, I'm gonna go to the con. Oh, what the heck is this mess? Nope.
You're on the
Back,
away
back.
team! So, you beam into the MupwI engine block, and it's pretty much as bad as you could possibly think. The reactor is sparking, and there are plasma fires going. There's smoke filling the majority of the area. As such, it's the fact that there is so much smoke around that you see these silhouette, these profiles of Klingons darting to and fro. You can hear them shouting and calling and trying to repair things or get things back in place. When one of them finally realizes you're there, does a quick double take before he fumbles for his disruptor pistol and goes, "Intruders!" At which point there are a couple of others that suddenly appear out of the smoke with their weapons drawn, and the first Klingon goes, "You made a big mistake coming here, Starfleet. Prisoners isn't good enough for you." At which point another stronger voice comes roaring through over the noise. "You touch them, and you'll have me to reckon with." At which point the MupwI's chief engineer, Keth, comes striding in through the smoke. Now, he's currently got a very nasty bleeding gash on his forehead, and he's got plasma burns from obviously where he was very close to something when it went up. So he's cradling one arm to himself, but he's still walking about and carries himself with authority. At which point he continues, "I know the measure of these, and they have more honor than you could ever dream of. So, unless you want to challenge me for my position as chief engineer in combat, right here, right now, you will stand down and continue those blasted repairs." There's a tense few moments of silence as you're not exactly sure how it's going to go. The Klingons look edgy, more than a little nervous, so you're not sure if one of them's going to accidentally click the trigger on his disruptor pistol, but eventually the initial Klingon visibly backs down, holds up his hand and his disruptor and holsters it, which makes the others holster theirs, as they start just quietly just backing away. At which point Keth then takes his eyes off of the one who was potentially challenging him and then turns to all of you. "Well, thank Kalis you're here. At least we'll now have competent engineers on this crew who could maybe help me with this damage. Our reactor's about to go critical. If we can't shut it down right now, we're going to suffer a core breach. I need your help. Oh, and I've got this scrap, and some of my men are down as well, so anything you can do to help them from not dying so I can actually use them and maybe kick them up the backsides later for not doing their job well enough so to make this thing happen in the first place would be appreciated.
Yeah, I think I'd
So-
start with like helping the engineer himself that he's injured.
Yeah.
So-
Bonnie's gonna try to look at the console and see if there's anything proportional-wise she can do.
Well, the good news is the console's just about working thanks to backup power. The bad news is there's so many red alert signs on most of the systems that it's like, well, where the hell do you start? But the thing, from what Klingon you remember how to read, does look like the coolant systems are pretty much shot. You're going to need to take the core offline in order to prevent the core breach from happening. So any buggers who want to throw themselves in to a quick engineering-related task to turn the core off is going to be a now or never kind of, well, not kind of, very much a now or never task. So we're talking a control or daring and engineering job here.
With a well, I've got a focus in power systems, so I'm happy to lead that.
I do have electroplasma power systems, warp theory,
Cool.
as well.
Dave?
And I also have culture studies to read
Yep,
the
yep.
Klingon.
Is that too? That'll do. Listen.
Ronnie's got maintenance focus.
Well,
and
this
life
will
support
definitely-
System.
Maintenance is definitely an applicable focus here.
She's also going to give the chief engineer, was it Kef?
Yes.
A data pad,
Okay.
which says chief engineer is a bit of a stretch, but I know you can do your best. Kapla.
But also, if if there's any other things to be done, Bonnie does have a decent medicine too.
Yeah. So it's up to you, Liz. Do you want to? I mean, Dr. Sott, being the expert surgeon he is, probably has got this. The EMD is moving around, seeing to the other downed Klingons hither and yon scattered about. So it's now basically down to the. I mean, unless Chris wants to roll for Dr. Sott just to see how spectacularly well he does do.
I'm almost afraid to actually.
Well, that's a good point.
Chris-
Do we want to push our luck?
If I can just get the free pass to be like, oh yeah, you did it, then I'll just do
Yeah,
it that way.
yeah, absolutely. Because to my mind, Sott's done this so many times, and he is familiar. There's no reason he wouldn't be familiar with Klingon physiology.
He does have emergency medicine too.
There's that, everything points towards Dr. Sott having his side of things in the bag, most definitely. It's the engineering boys and girls who are going to try and take the core offline before it goes kaboom that are going to need to give me a difficulty 2
All right.
engineering job.
Can we have? All right. So if everybody else agrees with this, can we have Flesk as
Lead?
lead? Have Bonnet, Rani, and Gurkal
That'll
helping
cost you
out.
2 momentum.
If that's yes, if people are okay with it,
Sounds good to me.
because we can use Gurkal's statistical probability.
Yes, you
to help
can.
us out here. God focus.
The God focus wins again, yes. But it makes sense. Most warp systems, even those derived from different technology, follow a similar means of operation. Therefore, it should stand to reason that it would be in a similar way to ejecting your own or shutting down your own cores. So, yes, I'm fine with that. So once again, it's going to be either control or daring and engineering or science, depending on where you're coming at it from. Whichever one you fancy using, and any foci that you believe will be applicable to powering down a warp core.
Warp field dynamics and power systems. Boom. Come on. Hey,
Double
that's
18
not
is
good.
0, so Klingon systems, not so good with. Okay, it's still difficulty 2, there's still 3 of you left to go. Each of you are rolling 1 dice. There's 1 success from Girani. Well done, Ensign.
Daring and engineering.
Yes, yes. So slightly more similarities between Andorian warp cores and Klingon warp cores, as it turns out.
Can I steal a point of momentum to actually do the reading now?
I see no reason why not.
Go for it.
Okay.
Now's the best time to do it.
Oh.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Bonnet rolled a 0.
Ah,
It's
damn it.
all down to Gurkow. It's all on you.
Okay. Let's see what else do I have? What else do I have?
If you have anything else in your arsenal to use, now would be the time to pull it out.
I can use my Legion of Honors for good.
Well, that's in case something goes wrong, certainly. But in order to make
that-
up... It gives you two...
The-
Legion of Honor gives you 2 additional momentum on a successful task. But that's
So I
not what
have
we're
to
after
be-
here. We're after the extra success, so...
Okay. Okay.
You got this, Connie. Got this.
Let's go!
It's a 7!
Yeah!
So there was a brief moment there when where Flesk is like very confidently going in as a case of, oh my god, the Klingons, what kind of a horrible mess is this? You know, their power modulation systems are very much a case of, how does this even work? How are you not all dead? So Flesk just loses his ability to tell what's up and what's down. The same goes for Bonnet, who, as good as she is with warp-related theory and stuff like that, trying to work a Klingon console, a damaged one at that, is like, I pressed something, it's still red, what's going on? So it then
Klingons
takes
are like-
Girani and Gurkow, using
I am
probability... Sorry, go on.
I'm picturing Fless's complaining as distracted Bonnet.
Yes, quite.
I'm picturing it as like, the Federation has L cars and then the Klingons have like windows.
Yeah. A previous version of Windows, before there was an actual, usable UI.
Windows Vista.
Oh. Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, don't give us that.
Whoa. That was painful to even hear the word. Alright.
I was
It's
just
almost
about
as bad as dial-up.
Oh.
I was just about to say a joke, but I thought it'd be a bit too much.
Either way, Gurkow and Girani are the ones who pull everyone's fat out of the fire by essentially ignoring the console and going straight for the wiring. Pulling out wires, reconnect to them in such a way that it causes an emergency shutdown, which brings the core offline. Ooh. And so you save the MupwI and the crew of the MupwI from detonation. You get the chance to, you get a visit eventually from Captain Akul, who makes his way down to the engineering block himself to see what's going on. Before that happens, the rest of you, those of you who are not seeing to the medical needs of the crew, got a bury on that have been in person in a while. Bye. You manage to get emergency power working, so Captain Akul himself makes his way down to have a look. And for a moment there, he just stands there looking at you all before he eventually cracks that kind of smirking smile of his, showing those fang-filled set of teeth he's got, and just slaps. Who's it going to be? I'm going to randomly choose one of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going from the left and over. 4, so it's going to be Gurkow. Gurkow gets an affectionate slap on the shoulder from Captain Akul. I knew you creatures had honor. I just didn't realize that your honor would overtake your need to succeed at a mission. It pains me that we have to be on opposite side, my friends, but this was why we enacted the ritual of the Klingon Gyach that we did. And even though you could very well have taken the lessons from that ritual and seen the benefit in beating us to the objective, I, for one, am extremely grateful that you did come and help us. Each and every one of the crew here now owes you a life debt. And I will not let one member of this crew forget it. Unfortunately, I think you have sacrificed your ability to succeed at your side of the mission. For that, you have my eternal thanks. I hope that your superiors will not be too hard on you. It was all I could do to persuade the other captain not to open fire on you the moment we came within engagement distance. I managed to persuade him that there would be more honor in beating Starfleet at their own game. It seems, in the end, we were beaten by trying to beat you at your own game. Nevertheless, he offers you all the Klingon salute. However, before our systems come back online and our ship's internal sensors register that you are actually on board our ship, may I recommend that you promptly see yourselves beamed back aboard your vessel before we have to make actual log of the fact that you were here on board this ship. And so, without any more to do than is necessary, you manage to stabilize the MupwI ship enough to allow them to limp home if they need to. The damage to the core was enough that they're going to have to proceed back to the Empire under low warp, but if they go carefully, they should be okay. Dr. Sott and the EMD managed to take care of the more serious cases that needed medical attention. There were a few casualties from folks being too close to certain exploding consoles or rupturing conduits, but overall, a lot more would have been more seriously injured, if not dead, were it not for the medical efforts of Sott and the EMD. Before too long, you beam back aboard the Combs. And without waiting too long to at least extend your friendship once again to the crew of the MupwI, the captain orders the Combs to turn around and resume back towards your objective. Unfortunately, you quickly learned that the Klingon covert ship, even though they did come out of warp long enough to investigate your decoy, still had enough of a lead on you that they made it to the Quazkey system and did engage the sensor array and destroyed it. But in the end, Captain Sobek is more thankful for the fact that you were able to save the MupwI crew from a catastrophe. And in the end, all Starfleet has really lost is the ability to spy on starship traffic on the northeastern spur of the territories of the Klingon Empire. Whether or not Starfleet Command will see it that way remains to be seen. And let us not forget that a certain what was his name again? Admiral Pressman. A certain Admiral Pressman, who was the one responsible for leveraging the reprimands against Tavish in the first place, may or may not use this as another excuse to have a go at the Combs crew. Time will only tell on that matter. Matter. So, in the end, how are the crew feeling about this turn of events? I mean, now officially, Tavish has been let out of jail.
Happy on both on both things. So happy that the MupwI is still alive and still around, and happy that Starfleet intelligence and that stupid admiral may be coming after us because she has a bit of a vendetta against them now.
Nice.
Like, bring it on.
Okay.
I think it'll be good. I think it's like stuff like this that'll, help to bring hostilities to an end.
Well, that's a very good point, actually. That's a very, very good point. Because Akul is the head of his own house, and does, last you heard, have some pull with Gowron, so you never know. This gesture of yours could go down very well with the Klingons. So you may, even though have failed this mission, you may get Starfleet intelligence on your case, but you may end up speeding up the peace process. So that's a very fine point. Anybody else with any thoughts?
I'm glad that they didn't instantly jump us, and we managed to do something, and not just blow up on their ship.
All right then. So, that brings this episode to an end. So thank you very much to everybody who watched, whoever you were. And for those of my players, of course, for taking part. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the end of this episode, therefore we will be taking the usual inter-episode break between this one and the start of the next one. So we should be back on the 26th of January, if everybody's around for that.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
And thank goodness for the break, because, dear Lord, I would not be able to be here next Sunday.
Oh, well, there we go then. Excellent timing all round. Okay then.
Because by the time this game starts, I would just be getting off of a 24-hour shift.
Well, exactly. Well, in that case, yes, definitely. Let's not do that to you. Okay then. So, once again, thank you very much to everybody who watched. If you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed it, then consider giving us a like, just because it helps not only us but everybody that the algorithm affects. So, role-playing gamers, actual players, anything to do with Star Trek, it's all good. Thank you very much, folks. I hope you do like the Vulcans do, which is live long and prosper, especially in these crazy, crazy times. Let's hope that 2025 calms the hell down. We don't know what 2024 was on, but he may have been drunk.
I don't even want to know what 22. I don't want to know what 2025 is on.
Unfortunately, yes, we're going to be starting 2025 off with President Trump being re-inaugurated. So yeah, we are very sorry to the future. Who knows? Who knows what will come? We'll see. You never know. Something positive might come out of all of this. But in the meantime, do like the Vulcans do. Live long and prosper. Help your friends out, even if they're on the other side of an argument. And also engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you next time. And in the meantime, it is hailing frequencies closed. Bye-bye.